This is the kind of games you live for. Games that mean something. Let's go out here, man. Let's go out here and let's ball.
All right, well, there you have it. Week 17, win and end. But I guess it's not that simple, right? Nothing can be that simple in the NFL. I'm Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. Win and end as long as there's no tie in Detroit tonight in that great game, which should be in the battle for the NFC North. So let's talk about the Washington Redskins. If they get that victory, they're in the tournament, as they say. What kind of a team is headed into that tournament with a win?
Well, we know what they have offensively. They're as good of an offense as I've seen, all season long. And the guy at the helm, Kirk Cousins, has had an outstanding year. You talk about what this game means to the Redskins. I think it means a lot to him. To take this team to the playoffs 2 years in a row, trying to secure a long-term contract, I think a lot's going to be determined for his future after the day's game.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Giants here now. You can say, oh, well, they're the number 5 seed. Doesn't matter what they do, win, lose, draw, whatever. But they have some questions to be answered on offense. I don't think they just mail this game in.
I don't think they can, Joe. There's a lot of people that say, well, what's one game going to matter? Or one half of football. And this offense has got to play better if they're going to have any chance when they get into the postseason. Defense is great. I'm sure they're going to rest a lot of guys as we move through this game. It's an important ball game for the offense and Eli Manning.
Say hi to Aaron Andrews down on the field.
Hi, and as Troy just mentioned, that one game means a lot to quarterback Eli Manning. He told me there was zero conversation with his head coach Ben McAdoo this week about just how long he would play in this game. He said there doesn't need to be a conversation. The reason why, he said, I need some momentum heading into next week, the postseason. I know that, my offense knows that, and that's all I'm worried about. I asked if there was a certain area he wanted to concentrate on. Joe, he told me all of it.
Well, it's going to be fun to see just exactly how first-year head coach Ben McAdoo approaches this game against a divisional rival and against a team that gave the Giants their only home loss of the season in week 3. Kirk Cousins will set it up at the 25. And here comes that gunslinger and a guy who loves the deep ball. You talk about like Sam Bradford today. He set the NFL record for completions percentage, but it's dink and dunk and short stuff. Kirk Cousins is fun to watch because he wants to air it out.
Yeah, and he's been doing it now for a couple years. He's got a lot of guys to air the ball out too. Some real threats that can get down the field. Certainly Deshaun Jackson. Not only does Kirk Cousins like to throw it down the field, but Jay Gruden likes it as well.
5-2.
Robert Kelly coming off a sprained knee at Chicago last week, and a big running game for the Redskins, where they rushed for over 200 yards, their second best day running the football this season. He picks up just a yard. You see where the Redskins rank offensively in their total yards per game, and maybe that last column is what we were just talking about, the big plays, the big chunks. They're about as good as it gets in the NFL.
Well, they got Jordan Reed. He's back in the lineup after missing last week's game. He's got the separated shoulder. He needed to take some time off. Be interested to see how he's able to play today.
Hey, Ringo!
2nd and 9, pass caught. There he is, makes a move, gets away from one tackler, and then he's brought down right at the marker. Went around Janoris Jenkins, and that's a storyline because he's playing after sitting the last game out with the bad back that we saw him get injured at home against Detroit. Here's that Giants defense that's not only good with their numbers, but peaking at the right time of the year. They're terrific on 3rd down as well.
They've been outstanding. If someone would have said that they would do what they've been able to do this year, that the Giants would run away with the division. It's the offense that has really surprised some people in how they've been able to play.
3rd down in inches, and off the edge it depends. Kelvin Shepard brings down Robert Kelly, and Gene Steratore saunters over and looks at Jay Gruden and says, you're this far short, and it's 3 and out to start the day. What a play.
Yeah, Kelvin Shepard, he's able to just shoot through the line of scrimmage, and Trent Williams, a left tackle, he's not able to get a block on him, and a big stop there on 3rd and short.
Redskins came into the game with the fewest 3 and outs around the NFL all year with just 20. That's their 21st. And a punt from Tress Way. Good punt. Harris back just outside the 10, slips. And then crosses the 20, and that's it. Shazer Everett will get credit for the tackle. It's a 10-yard return, and it's a number 10. This 2-time Super Bowl champion quarterback coming onto the field, making his 199th consecutive start.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for that. That Eli Manning, he's in the lineup each week. That's an impressive run, and we heard Aaron Andrews' report that he wants to play, and I think it's important. This offense, even though it's been a struggle throughout the season, they're playing a defense that has not been good, and this is an opportunity for them to feel a little better about themselves as they head into next week's wild card game.
Delayed handoff to Perkins. Paul Perkins is across the 24. A gain of 3. Preston Smith on the tackle. See the last 9 games and where this Giants offense ranks. And maybe with all those statistics you see and where they rank around the NFL over that stretch, what's got to be most alarming is simply the points. I mean, they haven't scored as many as 20 points over the last 4 games.
Yeah, even last week when they had 470 yards of offense against the Eagles, they still didn't score many points.
Here's Perkins again with some room to run in front of him, and a couple of strong carries. First a 3-yard gain, now a 4-yard gain. It's 3rd and 3 coming up. Chris Baker on the stop. And this is a defense that if they get in will be tested to play well in the postseason. They are the last ranked defense on 3rd down. 3rd and 3.
This is the matchup that everybody's been talking about right here with Josh Norman and Odell Beckham. Expect to see that throughout this game.
On 3rd down, pass is incomplete for Perkins. And the 2 teams trade 3 and outs to start the day.
Another one of those throws from Eli Manning here on the first 3rd down of the game, and they've got Paul Perkins. I think Eli gets through his progression well, but he's got Perkins with an opportunity and just doesn't give him a good ball.
So now Brad Wing to punt with Crowder waiting, the top punt returner in the NFL. Jamison from outside the 20. Little room to move, makes a cut. How about number 80? Finally forced out just shy of midfield by Bobby Rainey. And Crowder, who leads the NFL in punt return yardage average at over 13, as a 25-yarder. Good field position for Jay Gruden and the Skins. Early, no score. Hey everybody, remember the great punt return we showed you going to break? Well, they called a hold on 35 to Sean Phillips. A late flag that was thrown. The announcement came during the commercial break. And so instead of starting at their own 48 because of the hold, they started their own 14.
Yeah, they don't normally call that too often. You usually can get away with quite a bit on the outside against those gunners.
So a net result of 34 yards of field position, and the ball is back at the 14-yard line. Second possession for Kirk Cousins. This offense has been churning. Play action will start this drive, and so will a sack. And it's big Damon Harrison coming through. Loss of 10.
You're going to see Damon Harrison. He's able to work past right guard Brandon Sheriff, and then he gets the straight shot on Kirk Cousins. They bring in the extra offensive lineman Ty Nseke at the tight end position, trying to show heavy personnel, a running personnel package, take a shot off of play action, but Damon Harrison, who's had a great year, and a guy who I really think got snubbed not making the Pro Bowl. Heck, he was my vote as an all-pro player. He makes a big play.
So 2nd and 20, and they hand it off, and this drive is going nowhere fast. Robert Kelly left side, and there's Damon Harrison. By the way, you think there's any coincidence that Harrison leaves the Jets, their defense goes down the tubes, and he comes across town to the Giants, and their defense is one of the best in the NFL.
One of the best against the run, like you said, as the Jets were when he was playing for them. And I'll be honest, I thought he was going to be one of those guys that they would decide to rest, along with Janoris Jenkins. The fact that both those guys are in the lineup playing here today, I'm surprised that they're on the field. Great players.
3rd down and 15. What a catch by Thompson. Great effort, and if nothing else, gets a little breathing room for Tressway, the punter, as Devon Kennard makes the stop, a gain of 8. This guy's a really good weapon and coming off a big game at Chicago. Watch this grab.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. He does a lot of different things for him, and you know, now another punt. Like you said earlier on that opening possession, this is a Redskins team that they just don't get shut down very often and not moving the football, but the Giants defensively, they step up now here on the opening 2 possessions of the game.
Way for Harris from inside the 40. Broke 1 tackle, and then everybody in Landover, Maryland was standing waiting for him to come at him. A return of 2. Carrier on the tackle, no score. They just had a great moment here at the stadium that we'll show you as we go through this first quarter. It's America's Game of the Week. And we have a moment here so we can tell you. Specialist Leo Watkins, U.S. Army, currently stationed in Guantanamo Bay, has been away from his family for 9 months. Big Redskins fan, his wife Jessica, sons Lane and Landry. First it was Specialist Watkins on the video board, saying hello to his family while his wife was crying, holding her son. And then Specialist Watkins walked out and said, you know what? I'm just going to do this in person. And you can see that little boy, Landry, I believe, the younger of the 2, was pointing to the board. There's Daddy. And then he gets a big hug from Leo. That was terrific. 2nd down and 3 after Will Tye made the catch. Delayed handoff, Perkins, right side, 1st down. The first down of the game belongs to the Giants. Iheanacho on the stop, a gain of 4.
Yeah, Paul Perkins, he's really gotten a lot of work here in the last 3 weeks. He has split the carries for the most part with Rashad Jennings, and he's given them a little something that they've not had when he's had his opportunities, and he starts off that one with a pretty nice run of his own.
Beckham and Norman facing each other at the bottom of the screen. Get it away and hand off to Perkins. Nice move. And there is no doubt, Troy Aikman, that Paul Perkins has taken the starting running back position away from Rashad Jennings. He just has more burst. And it's been that way for the last 5-6 weeks.
And Larry Donnell, he makes a nice block there on the outside. You see there's no outside contain as Perkins hits it. And I know in visiting with Ben McAdoo, he feels the offense has shown some signs of improvement here the last couple of weeks, if only because they've been able to run the ball a little bit more effectively. What he has said, we've got to keep from seeing the ball on the ground so much when we pass.
Manning, that was nearly picked, and then Norman got hands to the face, no flag. The target was Shepard, and Norman was staring at a walk to the end zone, but Shepard broke it up.
Yeah, because Norman has safety help, so it's a rolled corner, and Eli's trying to throw it into a rolled corner against Norman. That's not very good. He's very fortunate not to have another interception. Eli has struggled protecting the football here in the last 4 weeks. He's turned it over 8 times himself in the last month of the season. 3rd down and 3. Perkins.
picked it up. You saw Josh Norman come away tapping at his face mask as he got this from Sterling Shepard. No flag was thrown. It's a first down here for the Giants.
Well, I think Sterling Shepard, he does a nice job just trying to break that one up. He gets the ball and then in the process hits the headgear. I didn't think that warranted a flag.
Norman and Beckham up at the top of the screen. Delayed handoff. Here's Perkins. Paul Perkins inside the 20 down to the 15. Will Blackman on the stop, and in a game the Washington Redskins need to get into the playoffs, they are watching the Giants move into scoring range.
Well, it's a couple runs now as Preston Smith, he's getting blocked by Eric Flowers, and Dookie Hanacho, he comes down at safety, number 29, and he tries to fill the gap on the inside. Instead, Perkins bounces it outside. There's nobody there in a big game.
Hand off to Jennings now. His first carry gets 2. We talked to Ben McAdoo during the week. He said, we're seeking consistency. Every week we're inventing new ways to make mistakes and put the ball on the ground. 27 giveaways. And he talks a lot about protecting the Duke. The Duke, the name of the football that they have on it. And said this time of year, the football's like a bar of gold. You got to protect it, and they haven't. That was a near pick moments ago from Manning, and they've been on the ground running it ever since. Manning drops it off to Jennings. And Jennings will take it down inside the 10 after Preston Smith couldn't bring him down. A gain of 5.
Well, you think about it, Joe, as good as the Giants have been on defense, if this offense, just protects the football, when you're playing that good on the other side of the ball, then you're going to be a hard team to beat. And that's been true in a lot of ways. I mean, this offense, as you said, they have turned the ball over, and I think sometimes everyone has to take a step back and realize this team has won 8 of their last 10 games, but for offense, it has been a challenge all year long.
Third down and 3. Pass. What a catch by Shepard. Shepard wasn't all the way around looking for the ball. Got to it with his eyes late and makes a 4-yard catch for a first down.
He just got his head around and is able to stick his arm out. He's had a heck of a year. For a rookie, I think in a lot of ways, other than quarterback, I think it's the hardest position to step in as a young player and play well. There's a lot to know, especially as the slot receiver, which is where he is here. But he has been phenomenal and a good draft pick by Jerry Reese.
On first and goal, the handoff to Perkins, nothing. Adam Henry is the wide receivers coach for Ben McAdoo. He's done a fantastic job, obviously, with Odell Beckham Jr. and the 3-year run he's been on. But as you say, you get Sterling Shepard, and you say, well, he's a good receiver, 2nd-round pick at Oklahoma. He can run, he's smart. But how many guys have come out of college, high draft picks, that you can't just throw them out there and say, go run by people? It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't, and he's contributed. He's 2nd on the team in receptions, and it's something he can really build on.
Manning to throw on 2nd down and just throws it away, and that's close to grounding.
Yeah, I don't think that got past the line of scrimmage. They say now just in the vicinity, but I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to discuss it right now, and you see Jay Gruden, he wants to call, and if you're asking me, I think it should be called.
Looked like he was clearly in the pocket between the tackles, and they're going to throw the flag. That'll be grounding.
You see that he's going to be within the tackle box, and then you just got to get it past the line of scrimmage, not close.
Intentional grounding. Offense. Quarterback was in the pocket under pressure, and the forward pass did not make it back to the original line of scrimmage. 10-yard penalty, loss of down, 3rd down.
It's one of those situations where with with Eli. They're fourth in the league, having given up just 21 sacks, and a big part of that is because he will get the ball out and just won't take a sack, and this time they get the call, and Josh Norman, he gets a hold of the jersey there on Odell Beckham.
So that's moved the ball all the way back to the 14, third and goal. 12th play of the drive. Quick throw over the middle, will tie. Won't get there. Takes it inside the 5 to the 4, and it's fourth down. Compton on the stop, and it'll be a Robbie Gould field goal try, who had his best game as a Giant a week ago Thursday at Philadelphia when he went 4 for 4.
I would think Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, feels good about that. That's an area where they have struggled in terms of stopping people inside the red zone. So they get the intentional grounding on Manning, but they're able to make a stop, force a field goal.
22-yard try. Former Pro Bowl kicker knocks it through. And so the first points belong to the Giants as the drive stalls. It's a 3-0 game. We'll look at the Washington Monument. Great time to be in our nation's capital. The weather is fantastic. And on America's Game of the Week, the Giants in a game that they don't necessarily need. In a game the Washington Redskins do. Giants have a 3-0 lead. Beckham going to go inside and get looked at for whatever reason. And after a nifty catch by Sterling Shepard, set up first and goal from the 4. The drive stalled for the Giants. Here comes Kirk Cousins. Third possession, down by 3. Well, for the Giants, they departed Newark Penn Station around 1:15 in the afternoon yesterday and arrived at Washington Union Station after having some fun as a group. A lot of guys on a train ride for the first time in their lives. They got to Washington Union Station around 4:15, and that's rather routine for the Giants doing that. No whistle stop tour, but that's how they got to DC, and they have a 3-0 lead, 2:12 left in the opening quarter, and the Redskins have it at the 25. Start with it on the ground with Kelly, and there's nothing out there. Eli Apple, the rookie, was out there first, and Landon Collins cleans up with the stop, a loss of 2.
Well, the Redskins, they bring Tyler Nseke again as the sixth offensive lineman, and Landon Collins, he's able to get a push through Vernon Davis and Eli Apple, who, you talk about guys who have had really nice rookie seasons. Sterling Shepard at the wide receiver spot. Eli Apple, he's continually gotten better and has pretty much taken over as the number 2 corner opposite of Janoris Jenkins.
Hey, Ringo, fight 2.
Second down and 12. Cousins throws, has a man. Garcon, did he get both feet down? The officials look at each other and say he did. And after having their first back-to-back 3-and-outs to start a game all year, they get their first down, and the Redskins are going to hurry it up.
Yeah, you see Kirk, he's trying to get up there and get the ball snapped. He's arguing with the official. I don't know that he caught that ball.
No challenge. McAdoo doesn't challenge much, and Chris Thompson on a carry. No gain.
They're talking to Kirk Cousins now about trying to get him to slow it down, but the ball, his feet are in, but the ball was bobbled one more time.
See the umpire who's in the middle of that, barring Cousins from getting under center.
You see the movement of the ball. I think that was an incomplete pass, and the officials had a discussion with Kirk Cousins, telling him you can't put your hands on the official even if you're trying to get the ball snapped.
It's another 20-plus yard completion as it is, 23-yarder. Cousins slings it, sideline, contact, no flag. Deshaun Jackson was looking for one of those back shoulder throws, and he got ripped down by Trevin Wade.
Yeah, it looked to me when it happened that it should have been called. There's contact, an arm bar, and then as you get in front of the receiver and cut him off like that, it very easily could have been called pass interference. And Deshaun Jackson was certainly looking for it. And you know, here's a guy who, in Deshaun Jackson, there's speculation as to whether or not he'll be back next year. But over the last 4 or 5 ball games, he has been a big play machine.
Looking for his 4th straight 100-yard game, and that'll make it 3rd down and 14.
False start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Beckham's back, and that's why he went inside. He's got a cut or something on the little finger of his left hand. It's 3rd down and 14. Garcon, by the way, is knocking on the door of his second 1,000-yard season as a Washington Redskin. Also a free agent to be. Collins coming on a blitz, and there he is. And he wasn't alone. Olivier Vernon was there as well, and it's 4th down.
And we've seen Steve Spagnuolo bring the pressure now a couple times with Landon Collins. You're going to see him drop here, but Vernon, he's working against Nseke. He's able to get the pressure initially. Collins just jumps over Chris Thompson, who is a really good pass protector at that running back position. But Collins has been outstanding around the line of scrimmage all year. He's a good blitzer. He's had a Pro Bowl year.
3rd punt already for Tress Way, and it's the final play of the opening quarter. He drives Harris back to the 15, and he'll cross the 25. Landon Collins, what a year. Olivier Vernon, what a year. And they combine to bring down Cousins on America's Game of the Week. With his massive play call sheet, Ben McAdoo looks it over. He becomes the 4th coach in Giants franchise history to, first of all, win 10 or more games in his first season, and secondly, to get to the playoffs in his first season. Giants coming off back-to-back 6 and 10 years that spelled the end of the road for Tom Coughlin. Here's one to Beckham. He's back, and he's across the 40. Gain of 15.
That's Beckham's first completion of the reception of the game, and Josh Norman, they're playing soft. And I know in visiting with Josh Norman, he says that he likes to get on the line of scrimmage and gets hands on the receivers. And you know, Buddy's going to mix it up at times, and sometimes he's going to be soft. He's not always in man coverage, even when he's opposite of Odell Beckham. But this time he's up on the line of scrimmage, hoping to get his hands on.
Here's Jennings, runs right into the arms of Mason Foster, who's the top tackler for the Redskins. It'll be 2nd down. Meanwhile, before the game, this kid, Benny Jr. with the good hair, was out and on display, and Ben McAdoo found out about it and came out and gave the kid a high five.
That was great.
And he's still got it going with the haircut that I'm sure Chris Christie will criticize on Boomer and Carton this week. 2nd and 6. Here's Jennings. Gain of just 2. 3rd down coming up.
Well, you think back to the preseason and when the year began. I know going into week 1 that if we look at that call sheet, there was some talk that maybe Ben McAdoo wouldn't even call plays. You know, they were throughout the preseason. He called them some, and then he gave some of it up to Mike Sullivan as well to call some of those plays, and then he decided that he was going to, you know, keep those responsibilities. But I don't know that it's something that he's always going to do. But you see the menu that he has to call plays off of. Trying to find something to get this offense going.
Blitz. Giants pick it up, and there goes Odell Beckham out at the 41. And he's working on Josh Norman. And those two have a little moment on the sideline, a gain of 12 and a 1st down.
Well, an excellent job by Rashad Jennings. He's able to come up and block Mason Foster in the hole, and you see the man coverage by Josh Norman, and you allow Odell Beckham to just run the shallow crossing route. It's hard to keep pace with him. It's a big 3rd down pickup.
Odell Beckham has a shot at the receiving yardage title this year, trailing T.Y. Hilton, but not by much. Here's Jennings. And with that carry by Rashad for 6. We go to Carissa with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. Late first, Atlanta up 7-3. Devontae Freeman goes to work. A 75-yard run, the longest of his career. And with a win, Atlanta locks in that 2 seed and a bye. The Saints are in the red zone right now, but Atlanta up 14-3. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that game. Atlanta with Matt Ryan, who could very well be the MVP. Dangerous. 2nd and 4. Here's Jennings. And with under 12 to go in the opening half, Trent Murphy makes the stop, a gain of 2. 3rd down and short coming up for New York.
You see Odell Beckham at times, he'll line up in the slot, and Josh Norman at times when he's in man coverage, he'll definitely be lined up across from him. But if he's not, then that means they're in zone coverage. They're at the top of the screen now with Josh Norman in man on Odell Beckham.
3rd down and 2. Manning protected, finds his guy, and it's the rookie Shepard. Another 3rd down conversion for the Giants, a gain of 14.
And initially, this is where Eli Manning was looking. He took a shot. He sees that Norman bails, doesn't have a shot down the field to Beckham, and then Sterling Shepard, he works the middle of the field, and Eli does an excellent job coming back to his second receiver and picking it up.
It's twice we've seen a player lose his footing on this surface here at FedEx Field. On 1st down, handoff is to Jennings. And Rashad Jennings will take it inches outside the 15 for 4. Ziggy Hood on the stop. Jay Gruden, who is in his 3rd season as the Washington Redskins head coach. You see the overall record, but they were the division champs a year ago. Trying to go to the playoffs in back-to-back years for the first time since the early 90s. 2nd and 6. Pass is caught. There's Beckham. And that'll be a flag on Norman, and here we go again. It's Norman against Beckham, round 3. And this time, the flag's on Norman.
That's the right call.
Late hit, out of bounds. Defense, number 24. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That right there was a play earlier. Now that's another punch at the football. They had a moment here on the sideline prior to that last 3rd down conversion. A little shove as they were going back into their respective huddles, and now that little punch missed the ball and caught Beckham in the stomach. Well, and it's a flag to bring it down inside the 5.
Keep an eye on the 2 of those right now, and you know, we've seen both of these guys highly competitive. We know what the battle has been, and after that altercation on the sidelines and the penalty, what might happen here on this play?
2nd time the Giants have had 1st and goal at the 4. Last time had to settle for a field goal as Jennings takes it inside the 2. Ricky Jean-Francois on the stop.
Right now, I mean, Jay Gruden's got to be a little bit concerned. This has been all New York Giants here in this 1st half, and the Giants with a chance to extend their lead to 10-0. And I know, you know, all of us coming into the game, you don't know what exactly to expect from the Giants, but they are playing pretty good ball.
Jennings for the touchdown. An impressive start for New York here against a divisional rival. And for Rashad Jennings, he gets his 3rd rushing touchdown in the season. And for the Giants, they get only their 6th all year.
Well, Weston Richburg, he's the guy that kind of running right between him and the right guard, John Jerry, and they finish off a nice drive. And there's those 2 going at it again. The officials talked to them before the game began, and you see them coming over again to try to separate the 2.
Giants last in the league in rushing touchdowns, get their 6th and lead by 10. So what's on the line? A playoff spot for the Washington Redskins. Not a good start. 10-0 New York. Great battles over the years between these two terrific franchises. Giants have had the most recent success, as you know. They've won 4 Super Bowls overall, but they won at the end of the 2007 season, at the end of the 2011 season. And by the way, both those years they had to go through Green Bay, at Green Bay, to get there and win it all, and they may have to do that again. We'll get into that as this game goes forward. Redskins looking for something offensively. They'll start at their 25 as they trail by 10. Well, what score surprises you the most? This one on America's Game of the Week, 10-0 Giants, with the Giants nothing on the line and everything in front of the Washington Redskins, or what's going on between Seattle and the 49ers? With all the unrest with the San Francisco organization. Here's a pass caught by Crowder. It's a 14-3 49er lead in that game over Seattle. There's a chance that Seattle slides down to the number 4 spot, and the winner of the NFC North goes up to the number 3 spot. And I don't think anybody saw that coming on a day where Trent Baalke, their GM's been fired, and Chip Kelly, their head coach, has a meeting with ownership after the game that will determine his fate. And here they are leading the Seattle Seahawks. 2nd and 5. Cousins protected, airs it out. Garcon broken up, and there's Janoris Jenkins downfield coming off the back injury and able to pop up. Good to see him back.
Take a look. Pierre Garcon, he's an excellent intermediate route runner. He's also a guy who's given them some big playability down the field. Just a ball that's not out to the sideline. So Jenkins able to get on. And, you know, hey, I'm surprised by what's happening between that Seattle and San Francisco teams. But looking at this one here, Joe, you never really know exactly what you're going to get when you're the Redskins coming in against the Giants. The Giants are playing all their guys. Janoris Jenkins, who made the play on the last ball, he's playing with a bad back, and there he is landing on it, and they have held this offense in check in the first half.
Cousins fires a fastball to Jordan Reed, who slides down at the Giants' 49, a completion of 21.
That's the first one that we've seen Kirk Cousins really being able to just turn loose. And Jordan Reed, they split him out. He finds the hole in the zone, and Kirk Cousins on time gets the ball, and they desperately needed that to get this thing going.
Reed has missed, as Troy said, not just last week's game, but 2 of the last 4 with that bad shoulder. What a weapon he is. Cousins, there he is again, out to the right, and dives forward inside the 45. It'll be a gain of 5.
Well, as we talked about, he did miss last week's game, but he probably should have missed a couple of others. He's got the separated shoulder. He just was not able to function. He wasn't able to block, and basically trying to do it with one arm and trying to get him as healthy as they can, you know, for this game, and resting him last week and knowing what's at stake today. But this is a different offense when he's on the field.
Kelly. Robert Kelly, who has taken over the top running back spot for Jay Gruden, is good for 3 third and short coming.
Yeah, the run game, I think when you talk about the Redskins and what they've been able to do overall this season running the football, as you see the total yards by the Redskins, just over 50 yards. This is an offense that 8 times this season had over 400 yards of offense and 3 times had over 500 yards. So this is rare territory for them to not have more success than they've had here in this first half moving the football.
Third down and 2. Cousins not on the same page with Jordan Reed. And the drive hits a wall here as the punt team comes on 4th down for Jay Gruden.
It sure looked by Reed's reaction after this play that, you know, he Well, he just lost his footing as he was coming out, but I don't know if he was going to continue on the go route or come underneath, but you tell that Reed was frustrated with it, and a missed opportunity and a stop for the New York Giants.
Tressway has one pass completion this year. That was a 31-yarder at the Giants week 3. A big first down in that game and a 2-point win for Washington. The only home loss for the Giants this season. New York has the ball and a 10-point lead, 6.5 left first half. Old number 80 is frustrated. Before last week had a legitimate shot at a 1,000-yard season and one catch for 3 yards at Chicago. And I'll show you what happened on that 3rd down and 2 play. Meanwhile, Paul Perkins gets zipped. And let's go back to the 3rd and 2 look.
Well, the Giants, they bring the pressure off the slot, and so Crowder, he's just one-on-one then on Landon Collins, certainly picks up the first down, and Kirk Cousins just working opposite of that. But as this game moves along, they're down 10 points, and you start pressing a little bit when you know what's at stake. And you got to win this game to have a chance, and in all likelihood, you win this game, you're in the playoffs. They did not expect to come out here and struggle the way that they have offensively. The Giants, this has been a nice performance for them, and like I said, you never know what you're going to get out of them. Already clinching the 5 seed, but they've shown some good things.
Here's Perkins with Ioannidis trying to rip the ball out of there, makes the stop, a gain of 6. Aaron, what's going on down there?
Redskins receivers just clearly frustrated. You had Jamison Crowder come off the field just shaking his head. Deshaun Jackson with his hands on his hips, kind of coming over Jordan Reed saying, what's going on? What's the problem? Reed talking to himself on the bench. Yeah, the mood not great down here.
I know you well enough to know you love the way Ben McAdoo is going about this game for the Giants.
I absolutely do, and I think it was important for this offense, and I think they have, they've shown some real positive things, which was important. They did not play well their last outing against the Eagles, even though they were able to clinch a playoff berth with a loss by Tampa.
Delay a game. Unless they're going to claim, they threw the flag, unless they're going to claim the sideline got a timeout. As Eli Manning let the play clock wind down.
Prior to the delay of game, the head coach of the New York Giants called a timeout. Will be their first timeout.
McAdoo saw it. Eli did not. Timeout. 3rd down when we come back. Well, a big 3rd down for this Washington defense. 3rd down and 4. Giants with the ball at their 15. Manning throws. Will Tye, the tight end. Great block from Cruz. Victor Cruz just carried his man downfield and opened up a mile of grass for Will Tye. Good for 24.
Well, Will Compton, he's the one who's going to be in coverage, and then he gets caught up with the slant routes in behind it. It opens up Will Tye for an easy completion, and then Victor Cruz, as you said, he does an excellent job helping out down the field. The Giants have been really good here in this first half on 3rd down. A lot of things getting better offensively, and the Redskins have been the perfect defense for that to happen.
Hand off to Perkins. Larissa Thompson to the game break.
Thanks, Joe. Always a high-scoring game when these two teams get together. Matt Ryan to Julio Jones for a 1-yard score. Now remember, all the Falcons have to do is win to clinch the 2 seed. They're up 21-10. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
To add on to that, if the Seahawks lose at San Francisco, which not a lot saw coming, opportunity for the winner of the NFC North to slide up, and the Giants would end up playing in Seattle next week. Here's Eli Manning. Pass dropped by Perkins. 3rd and 8 coming up.
Talk about the 3rd downs that the Giants have been able to convert. This is, they've had a bunch of 3rd and 4 and 3rd and less, and we got Ryan Kerrigan who's down, and obviously he's a big part of this defense.
If you look at the numbers for Eli Manning on 3rd down, it's 3rd and 8. He's been good, and that's been a problem for New York.
Yeah, he has been good. It's been a problem for the Redskins all year. They're last in the league on third down, and they've given up a lot of third and longs over the course of this year as well. They've got the Giants here at 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8. See if they can make a stop. They need one.
Kerrigan and Will Compton both got up and got off the field easily. Pass caught by Shepard. Another third down conversion for Eli Manning, but a flag is down. Back in the area where Manning was protected. Makes you think initially of a hold, and we'll see if that's the call. Gene Steratore in a conference to make sure. And it's a hands to the face against the Giants.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
They call it on Marshall Newhouse. It looked like he's working against Ryan Kerrigan there. And then on the other side, you got Eric Flowers, who he's back in Eli's lap at the left tackle position. And it's something Eli's had to get used to all season long. One of those tackles has basically been in his face just about every time he's thrown the ball this season.
Bobby Hart, the starting right tackle, out with a forearm. So Newhouse gets his third start at right tackle. Guilty of the hands to the face. It's 3rd and 18. Delayed handoff. Perkins. It's 4th down.
Well, because of the penalty then on Marshall Newhouse, they're able to force a punt and now give the ball back to their offense. And this is a Redskins team. Remember back to week 3, it was a must-win game that week, and they were down 12 points at one point in that one.
Yeah, it's funny. You think all the way back to week 3, and that's really what it felt like. Redskins were 0-2 and on the road, and they got a big win. Here's Crowder trying to make his dent in this game, returning punts, a 45-yard punt. Lewis on the tackle and a return of 10 yards. Wednesday night, it's a huge college hoops showdown on FS1. Two of the best in the Big East battle when Josh Hart leads top-ranked Villanova against number 13 Butler. The action tips off Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern on FS1. Reigning national champion Villanova club, and here's the penalty on Marshall Newhouse that took the first down away.
Well, you see the right hand clearly to Ryan Kerrigan's face, and after converting on a 3rd and 8, they're able to get off the field, and now it's time to see if the Redskins offensively can put something together.
Handoff is to Kelly, and that won't get anybody excited. What a play by Casillas. A 2-time Super Bowl champion, Jonathan Casillas, who actually talked to the team during the week, trying to fire up his team in a game that didn't have playoff implications. He knows what it takes to win it all, and he made the big hit in game 2.
Yeah, well, you talked about how good this run defense has been for the Giants this year, and the Redskins have had a hard time here in the first 30 minutes getting anything going on the ground game.
We're at the 2-minute warning, so forget the bad snap. It'll be 2nd down and 8 on the other side of the break. 2 minutes left in the first half. That 1:55 will be changed when we come back. Last year, the Washington Redskins were shut out in a half of football. That's how good this offense has been. Cousins came into this game, still has it, with a shot at a 5,000-yard passing season, but it's been Giants defense. It's been the story in the first half, 2nd and 8. Pass is caught in traffic. Chris Thompson, 3rd down coming up. This Giants defense just swarms to the football. Now they're going to say incomplete as an official comes in and overrules the other. Let's take a look at it and see what that man saw that the other man didn't, and that's the right call. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, this offense has just been off a little bit. You know, so much of what they've been able to do this year is get the big plays down the field, and quite honestly, as good as the Giants have been all year, they have been prone to give up some big plays in the passing game. Redskins have taken their shots, just haven't been able to hit them.
Blitz. Cousins. Down he goes. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. What a time for his first sack of the year.
Yeah, he comes off the edge, and Kirk Cousins never feels him coming, doesn't see it. I'm not sure anybody did. Jamison Crowder is working in the slot. He didn't look like he was running any kind of hot route either, but this defense playing outstanding. They're shutting down one of the best offenses in all football here in this first half.
So Tress Way, who's been busy, he doesn't punt much. Fewest around the NFL coming in. We'll welcome you inside the booth as the Giants have called a timeout, hoping to get the ball back, but have some time to add to their 10-0 lead. This is impressive by New York and really disappointing for the Washington Redskins.
I think the Redskins are a little bit stunned, you know, by what's happened here. And the Giants, you know, like I said, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You know, Ben McAdoo talked about playing his guys. He's done that. They've played well.
Harris waits for it just inside the 30. Oh, what a hit. And that's Duke Iheanacho. We'll take a break. Giants will have it. We'll come right back in 30 seconds on America's Game of the Week. Giants will try to add to a 10-point lead.
Second and short in the eye behind Ryan. Freeman the call.
This is a 4-yard run. It may not look like much, but it forced Carolina to respect the ground game, which sucked up the safety on this play action. Leading to
Well-thrown ball by Ryan. Makes the catch of Julio Jones.
one of the most prolific performances in NFL history.
300 yards receiving.
Jump-starting an extraordinary run that made playoff time in Georgia a little more peachy. So this isn't just a 4-yard run. It can be a Super Bowl run.
You look at the quarterback comparison, and Troy, you said this coming in, and I agree with you. For Kirk Cousins, this is opportunity. He's under a franchise tag this year at around $19 million. They could franchise him again next year at about $24 million. They could sign him to a long-term deal, or they could let him walk away. I don't expect that to happen because he's been so good, but these are the games that you got to win.
I mean, this is what defines, you know, what you are as a quarterback and how a franchise views you. I think as a fourth-round pick, he's constantly been having to prove himself and overcome his draft status. There's no doubt that had he have been a top pick, that he would have been signed to a long-term deal, you know, last year coming into this season. But there is a lot of pressure on him. I think there's a lot of pressure on this team right now to come out, win this game, and give themselves a chance heading into the playoffs. But the Giants have come out and stunned them. And this has not been the offense of the Redskins that we've been used to seeing all year.
This is a Redskins team that's setting offensive records, not just Cousins. The franchise record, 4,630 passing yards coming in. But they have the top yards per game average in franchise history at over 410 a game. Doesn't look good so far today, but a lot of time left. Giants trying to add to the 10-point lead. Rainey makes the catch. And a gain of 3.
Yeah, you start to look at it and you wonder just how much is Eli Manning going to play in the second half. Will he play in the second half? But offensively looking at it, they're close to 200 yards here in this first half. It's been a good performance.
Another wide open receiver, and it's Beckham. And Norman gives him the tug out of bounds, a gain of 8, a first down. And well, we've seen that a lot with wide receivers, whether it's been Shepard or Beckham. They've been not just open, but wide open.
Well, Odell Beckham has such great speed and quickness that you see when he starts to threaten even a guy as great as Josh Norman up the field, and you're able to come back the way that he did. You create a lot of separation, make it easy on your quarterback.
3-man pass rush. Manning underneath, and there's Beckham again. And he gives a stiff arm into the chest of Bashaud Breeland. And with under a minute to go and 1 timeout left, a gain of 2.
Well, Odell Beckham had 120 yards receiving in the first meeting between these two teams, and you see Beckham holding the ball. We've watched that really throughout this game. He gets pretty loose with that football once he has it. He's had a nice first half.
2nd and 8. Manning Sideline overshoots Victor Cruz, who's kind of been the forgotten man in the Giants offense. He's had to go to the outside as the rookie Sterling Shepard goes to the slot on the inside. That is where Victor Cruz became a Pro Bowl receiver.
Well, now the Redskins, they've got the Giants backed up again at 3rd and 8. And can they make a stop? They didn't the last time it was 3rd and 8. They were able to get another chance with the penalty. They've given up a lot of 3rd and longs this year.
Blitz. Giants pick it up. Manning and Beckham miscommunicate. The questions coming in for the Giants were how long would they go with Eli Manning? He's obviously going to play the first half. But what will the Giant personnel look like on the field for Ben McAdoo in the second half? If you're the Washington Redskins, you're hoping the substitutions start coming fast and furious, especially on defense.
Yeah, no kidding. But I like what I've seen from Eli here in this first half in the offense. And I would think that if they decide not to play him, you know, this was a positive thing. They were able to get a little bit better here this afternoon.
Here's Crowder, breaks through one tackle. He knocked down near the 28. Let's find out what's coming up at halftime and say hi to Kurt once again.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, earlier today, New England wrapped up the AFC's home field advantage. Meanwhile, Oakland is playing right now. So is Kansas City. Both those teams trying to be the number 2 seeds in the playoffs. Join me and me for the Visa halftime report.
All right, well, yeah, there are at least seedings left to be determined in the AFC and a spot left to be determined in the NFC. The offense 49 total yards. This has just been a shutdown. But it's a 10-point game. 3 timeouts. And a timeout taken by the Giants on defense. They are out. Timeouts. Go back to week 3. The last meeting between these two had a little bit of everything. Hard hits. A nice fake punt. Good throw by Tress Way. It had one-handed catches. Of course, it's Beckham. Made hits on and off the field. That's where the old kicking net and Odell Beckham became acquainted. And then it was Sua Craven's interception that, in essence, ended the game. And you look at the comparison then and now. Defense has ruled the day. That first game, 5 second-half lead changes. And a 29-27 win for Washington to go to 1-2. From the 27. Pass to Thompson. Survives a hit. Almost lost the ball. Got back on it. As Janoris Jenkins is the one who stopped him. Clock runs. A gain of 1.
A little surprised that Kirk Cousins doesn't use the timeout there. A lot of wasted time off this clock.
With you or Jay Gruden on the sideline. I mean, so it's a completion for a first down, but so what? Now there are only 8 seconds left. You saw Deshaun Jackson get run into by Jamison Crowder, and he was slow to get up. But why the Redskins didn't use a timeout after that completion a moment ago, I don't know. But now only 8 seconds remain. 2 timeouts.
3 timeouts left after the ball was caught and the clock was running. I was shocked that they didn't burn it immediately, and they're going to end up just this clock running down and try to regroup there at halftime and see if they can't get something going in the second half.
Nothing for Deshaun Jackson in the opening half yet. 1 play left. There you go. To the 40. And they do get a timeout before the end of the half. Right now the clock shows zeros, but a timeout was called.
Washington. It is a 30-second timeout.
And they will get it. You're looking at 57-yard try. by Dustin Hopkins, that would be a career long.
Well, they got a shot, and it was smart by Deshaun Jackson, understanding the situation with little time on the clock, that he didn't have time to try to get any more yards than that. The clock was going to run out. He was able to get on the ground. They get the timeout. We'll see what happens here on this attempt, but not calling timeout after that first completion has cost them a more of an opportunity of something within reasonable range.
Again, this would be a career long for Dustin Hopkins, who's had a good year on one hand. He's made 33 field goals, but he has missed 7. And Janoris Jenkins will go back to return it in case it's well short. 57-yard try, not close. So no timeout taken early in that drive by Cousins or Jay Gruden. And that cost them a chance at a more realistic field goal. Redskins shut out, down by 10. Kurt and the guys, it's all yours. A 57-yard field goal try, so it's a 10-0 game. 83 total yards for the Redskins on offense. Nobody saw that coming. Giants will start at the 25, and we will start with Aaron Andrews down on the field.
Not Jay, I spoke with Jay Gruden. Joe, a 10-0 game, but standing outside of Washington's locker room, you'd think it was 20-0. Guys had their heads down. They were talking to themselves, kind of looking at me, rolling their eyes, shaking their heads. I asked Jay Gruden, where did he begin with his team at the half? And he just kind of chuckled and said, look, we have 30 minutes left, and if we don't turn it around, the season's over. We need to pull our heads out of our... He feels like they have not been physical enough on offense. They've been soft on D, and they need to pick it up everywhere.
Yeah, it's a 10-point game. It doesn't feel like it, but it's just a 10-point game as the Giants start with Perkins. There have been a lot of big holes to run through for these Giants running backs. He gets 7 to start the second half.
Pretty good start for Paul Perkins here in this second half, and true to form here in the last month, he's got the most carries between him and Rashad Jennings in that first half. And like I said, he really does give them something. And I think if you look at the last couple of games for this Giants offense, when they have started to run the ball better, a lot of those runs have come between the tackles, and that's where Perkins hits it on first down.
Fake toss, and they hand it to Perkins, and he picks up a first down. And the Redskins defense has to get a little more inspired here. A gain of 5, and we have cameras focused in on these two guys, and we saw it with Carolina and the Giants last year. We saw it earlier in the year in week 3 when Norman picked up Beckham early in that game. Norman's been flagged for unnecessary roughness in this game. Norman right in his face to start the play. Handoff to Perkins. Nacho can't bring him down until he gets to the 45, and a flag is down.
They threw the flag this time. It might be on Josh Norman, but that's where the flag was thrown. They go after each other again. You can see Norman come in kind of after this play here, right there. The initial contact was fine. It was that second shot by Norman.
Personal. Defense number 20.
Josh Norman's got to be happy Gene Sterator's mic is cutting out, because before the game he was talking to Norman about this stuff. And let's say this about Odell Beckham. We saw that stuff go on last year when Norman was with Carolina. I thought Beckham was the aggressor in a lot of that head-to-head stuff with Josh Norman. Then earlier in the year we've seen Beckham lose his cool a couple of times in that fight with a kicking net, and then he lost his cool with a game at Minnesota. But Beckham is keeping his calm here, and he's getting the better of Josh Norman.
Yes, he is. And Josh Norman said the other day that, you know, he does not initiate the talking.
Here's Perkins. So that's 2 flags on Norman, and another flag comes down here at the 41-yard line as Perkins carries a pile for 7. And Kerrigan comes out. Hurt his left elbow last week in Chicago. Now it's his right hand.
Number 84. 10 replay. First down.
That's a hold on Larry Donnell, and you see the frustration by Jay Gruden. And to go back, Josh Norman says he does not initiate the talking, but if a receiver engages with him, then he's more than willing to comply. And yet, I don't know about anyone else, I get tired of watching it each and every week or whenever these two guys meet. But here you're on a team who's trying to win to find a way to get in. You can't have penalties like he had that cost your football team.
They're not across from each other this time. A toss to Perkins, and he's just running right through Washington on 1st and 20. Paul Perkins over the left side picks up 13 yards.
Weston Richburg, the center, I think he's been one of the real constants for this offense this year along that offensive line. You see the job that he does blocking, and Odell Beckham on the outside. You know, he's doing a heck of a job blocking Greg Toller, and they continue again in this game to get some production out of the running game. The 3rd or 4th week now that they've shown some real positive signs.
Norman and Beckham across from each other. Pass is caught. 1st down. Sterling Shepard as he works against Toller. In case you're wondering who the backup quarterback is for the Giants, it's Josh Johnson. Ryan Nassib went on IR last week with a bad elbow, so Josh Johnson, who was picked up right before the start of the regular season, would get the call, and that's his last pass attempt in 2011 should he take over.
It was over 5 years ago when he threw his last regular season pass. I'm sure he would love to get on the field.
Here's Jennings. And coming down on the play, closing down on it, Dookie and Nacho, a gain of 5.
This is really something to watch. The way the Giants have controlled this game. See a lot of life out of this Redskins team.
Look at the play selection. And I guess you kind of expected that. A, the Giants want to continue with their running game and build on what they've been able to accomplish the last couple of weeks. B, they want to keep Eli Manning out of harm's way. Here's another carry. Jennings on 2nd and 5, 3rd and short coming up, but the Giants are inside field goal range. And now Ryan Kerrigan rather is being led off the field as he continues to hold that right hand up in the air. Let's say this: if the Washington Redskins lose this game, the game tonight between the top 2 in the NFC North determines who wins the division, but the loser's in. Tampa Bay was the only team that had a shot at a playoff spot. That opportunity is gone. 3rd down and 3. Perkins on a toss running left. Foster made the play, and it's 4th down.
Let's go! Well, they try to get the ball to Perkins to pick up this 1st down on the sweep, and boy, Mason Foster's able to shoot the gap and make a play and then get a little help. That was a much needed stop, but here the Giants are. They're going for it on 4th down.
4th down and 2. Pass is tipped, broken up by Foster, who's leading his team with 12 tackles on the day. And now he gets a big tip on 4th and 2. Redskins take over, still down 10. Coming back to Landover, Maryland. And you can see the field judge going over and talking to Odell Beckham, and Beckham has completely kept his cool, while Norman has been flagged twice for more of that head-to-head stuff that we've become accustomed to, unfortunately, between those two. Play action from Cousins. Is this the time the Redskins get it going? Jackson overthrown. 2nd down and 10. Ben McAdoo, the head coach of the Giants, talked about as you watch the hit that Cousins takes at the end of this from Vernon. Ben McAdoo, when asked about playing as regulars in this game, said We want to be a physical, heavy-handed, tough road team because their trip, what they hope will be Super Bowl 51 in Houston, will be a road trip.
Well, second and long, they just took Damon Harrison off the field, but he was in there on first down, as was Olivier Vernon, as we saw put the pressure on Cousins.
Thompson out to his right. Eli Apple with a play. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Eli Apple, I really think all these corners, Janoris Jenkins, Dominique Rodgers, Cromartie, and now the rookie Eli Apple, you know, we talk about their abilities to cover, and they do an excellent job. This pass defense is really terrific when you're able to cover with those type of guys, but they're also very physical in the run game.
Third down and 10, and another sack of Cousins. Leon Hall was in there and was not alone. Spagnuolo fired up, and the Redskins offense is in reverse.
You're going to see Leon Hall, he comes up, and then Landon Collins, he brings the blitz. Steve Spagnuolo, when you've got those kinds of corners, as I was talking about, it also affords you the ability to bring guys inside on the pressure packages and get home, and another 3 and out for the Washington Redskins.
Tress way from his end zone. Dwayne Harris at the 45 to midfield. And that's it. A happy man, Steve Spagnuolo, told us during the week, I've been watching for guys tuning out in meetings. I haven't seen it. We have to continue to play well. His group has. Dwayne Harris is injured. He was on the punt return. He kept fighting for extra yardage. And you can see that on hold of his legs, DeShazer Everett. And it was the left knee they were checking when he got up and went to the sideline. He is a high-priced special teams terrific player. Not just returning kicks, but covering kicks.
Made the Pro Bowl as a special teams player. He's a valuable guy on those special teams units.
Jennings. Well, they have been running left a lot behind Eric Flowers, their big left tackle, who has had a hit or miss year, but under a lot of fire. The first-round pick out of Miami last year.
Yeah, it's been really a tough year for Eric Flowers over there at left tackle throughout the season, and he has struggled in pass protection, but this running game has really helped Eli Manning, you know, try to find at least some balance and not having to do it all himself. And it also helps this offensive line not to constantly be having to be in pass protection as they were last week.
Manning gets rid of it. Flag is thrown for a hold, it appears. Heavy pressure by Preston Smith. And here's, I said the hit or miss. Here's the miss part.
Holding offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
That's his 9th offensive hold of the year.
You just don't see Ben McAdoo give him much help either, and he has needed it. When you see him, he gets off balance, and whenever you get your feet out of position and then you get beat, you start grabbing, and that's when he gets called for those holding penalties. And there's John Jerry. He's over there getting checked out on the sidelines, as is Dwayne Harris.
Good to see him up and at least moving around. Doesn't look that great trying to do it. 2nd and 16 now for the Giants, who lead by 10. Hand off to Jennings. Nothing there. Chris Baker was there with Ziggy Hood. A gain of a few 3rd down and long coming up. And you keep waiting around to find what will light the fire for the Washington Redskins.
Well, you know, here they are 3rd and long, the Giants are, so we'll see if they can make a stop. The Redskins on 3rd and long, but you thought that, well, you know, maybe that decision by Ben McAdoo would create a spark on 4th down when they made the defensive stop, and the offense goes out and 3 and out, and defense back out on the field.
Beckham not out there. Tavares King is. This is Cruz, and he's got nowhere to go. Breland on the stop. And It's 4th down for the Giants, who will punt with the dangerous Jamison Crowder heading back to return it.
Well, Joe Barry's got to be very pleased with that defensive stop, because the Giants, once again, to start this drive, they were at midfield. They had excellent field position. Did not give up any points. That's big.
Basically didn't give up any yards.
Yeah.
Wing to punt. Heavy rush by the Redskins. They don't get there. Crowder lets it go into the end zone. It checked up for a moment and then ended up in the end zone. 2-time special teams player of the week. Brad Wing almost pinned the Redskins deep. A 10-0 game with Washington on offense at the 20 after the punt by Brad Wing.
Spurs, the hunt. Ready? Where's the hunt? Ready? Where's the
73 total yards of offense for Washington, as Kelly will bounce it and turn in a nice run on 1st down. He gets 7.
Well, you look at this Redskins offense, Joe, as you see what has happened in this game today, and they came into this game 6 guys on this Redskins offense with 40 or more receptions. The only team in the league that could say that. And Jordan Reed has had 3 receptions, but there's no wide receiver that's had more than 1 so far.
Nothing for Kelly. Gets maybe a yard, and it'll bring up 3rd and 2. Olivier Vernon on the stop. So you see names like Vernon out there, Harrison, Hankins, all out there for the Giants. The only guy that we haven't seen the last couple of possessions for Washington has been Janoris Jenkins on the defensive side for the Giants.
Yeah, you take Janoris Jenkins out and then you replace him with Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. So you think, well, maybe then you can go after that guy, DRC. He's got a resume of his own.
1 for 7 on 3rd down. This is a heave for a 1st down. Garcon, a nice move. Still going. There's life for the Redskins. Down inside the 25.
That's an excellent route by Pierre Garcon to the corner, but Kirk Cousins, he is under pressure. Olivier Vernon, he gets an inside rush, and he is right in the face of Kirk Cousins, and Kirk has to kind of give some ground just to give him a chance and get the ball out. He lays it out perfectly, and that's exactly what this Redskins offense needed.
49-yard completion, and now over 1,000 yards again as Garcon. He is tough. Always has been. Play action. Cousins. Receiver fell down. And DRC with a pick back the other way. It was Moreeeee Harris who lost his footing. And for Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, his 5th pick of the year. So after the 49-yarder, here's Harris. Down he goes.
He goes down. He's just a guy who's caught 7 balls all season long. And let's take a look and see if Rodgers-Cromartie gets his feet down. There's the right foot, left toe drags. But Cousins turns that loose. Harris goes down. You see Crowder up in the seam, and he's thinking maybe he had a chance. Andrew Adams, a safety, he's working that way, but Harris falling down is costly, and the Giants are back in business.
How about Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie with a sack, his 1st of the year, now his 5th pick, and his 29th career interception. And he had to get both feet down like a receiver to secure the interception. They looked at it, a turnover play, so it got reviewed, and it was a clean pick by number 41.
And Kirk Cousins was talking about Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie on Friday and saying how much respect he had for him and how tough he is to throw the football against. He went to the right guy with the football, even though Moreeeee Harris is a guy who is limited catches this season. He just simply falls down, and DRC makes a good play on the ball.
Jennings with a carry of 1. Jerry Reese, who seemingly has been under fire since he took over, certainly the last few years, made the big free agent signings and the big splash. He's the general manager of the Giants on March 10th, adding Jenkins, Harrison, Olivier Vernon. But they've drafted well and signed very good college free agents, as this one is low for Will Tye, covered by Compton. And so that combination, talking about Eli Apple, who was their first-round pick, Romeo Okwara, who was a free agent, Andrew Adams, who was a free agent added at safety, and then the drafting of Sterling Shepard. It's been a real good body of work here over the last year for Jerry Reese.
Yeah, and I think the most impressive part, a lot of times you go out in free agency and spend the kind of money like the Giants did, it doesn't get you very far, and Redskins fans know all too well about that. But all three of those guys, Olivier Vernon, Janoris Jenkins, Damon Harrison, have been outstanding this year.
3rd and 9, and they run it. It's another stop for this Redskins defense, and making the play, Trent Murphy. Ryan Kerrigan left with a finger injury. His return is questionable, but they have some good players to fill in, and that time Murphy made the play for defensive coordinator Joe Barry. And now 2 players are back, Will Blackman and Jamison Crowder, as the Redskins look for a kickstart here on special teams, and Dwayne Harris is back in the game for the Giants. That's great to see. It's Crowder at 35. Good move down the sideline, and he gets popped by Zach Diassi. A 54-yard punt and a 17-yard return, and tempers flare between divisional rivals. Jay Gruden needs a win, and his club is in, down 10. Good. We saw one series, and he not only took Dallas down the field, but looked good doing it through a touchdown pass to Terrence Williams.
He sure did. That was his only series. So he got in the one series and looked sharp, threw a touchdown pass, and then his afternoon was over, and they handed it off to Mark Sanchez.
Olivier Vernon is not out there for the Giants. Kerry Wynn and Romeo Okwara are the defensive ends. Play action. Cousins, sideline. Pass is caught, and inbounds is Vernon Davis. The back judge came flying up and said the catch was good. Let's take a look. Oh, what a beautiful effort by Vernon Davis.
I didn't think there was any way he was in bounds when it happened. Vernon Davis, he starts in around the line of scrimmage. Take a look at it and see if his heels, it looks good. The left heel was in play, but he starts inside, and then he runs the wheel route, and he shows some of the speed and athleticism that he still has at his age.
Hand off to Kelly, and he smacks it in there, a gain of 1.5 yards. Vernon Davis is one of the 8 players with over 500 yards from scrimmage on this Washington offense. That's tied for the most all time with the 2011 Saints. That's why typically Washington's so dangerous, because they can get you from so many different angles.
Yeah, well, when they go to their 2 tight end package, they got 2 guys in Vernon Davis and Jordan Reed. They're like wide receivers, and Vernon Davis can flat out run. That was an excellent pickup by GM Scott McLuhan, someone he was familiar with from his days in San Francisco, and he's helped when Reed's been down.
2nd and 8. Cousins pulls it down and gets rid of it. So now a big 3rd down and 8. The Redskins are inside field goal range for Hopkins.
This Giants defense, even as I said, without Janoris Jenkins, they just do an excellent job in coverage. And you look at their pass defense ranking in the NFL, they're ranked 22nd in yards allowed, but they are 5th in passing yards per play. So it's not indicative of how good they are. They are hard to throw the football against, and quarterbacks simply do not come into games against them and have very good afternoons.
Olivier Vernon is back along the defensive front for the Giants. Just got it away on 3rd and 8. Cousins drops it underneath. Thompson nowhere to go. It's 4th down, and the field goal unit will come on, and this Giants defense stays strong.
They sure do. They give up a big play to Vernon Davis, and then they tighten up, and now it's going to be left for a field goal attempt to cut this to a one-possession game. And you can see Kirk Cousins. He's trying to signal out to the outside with Jamison Crowder. He had Jamison Crowder. He would have been short of the first down, but a key stop there by the Giants.
0 for 1 is Hopkins, 32-yard try. And the Redskins are on the board. 7-point game in Landover, Maryland. Under a half minute to go in quarter number 3. Well, the Redskins will kick it away, and Dwayne Harris is back, waiting for it for the Giants. Injured earlier, able to come back. The Pro Bowler, 25 seconds left in quarter number 3, and Hopkins is number 2 in the league in touchbacks. Will add another to the pile. Wednesday night, huge college hoops showdown on FS1. 2 of the best in the Big East battle. Josh Hart leads top-ranked Villanova against number 13 Butler. Action tips off Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern on FS1. Look at the numbers for ball control, dominated by the Giants. Have had a tough time with that specific category statistically all year. It's why the defense has been even that much more impressive, because they've been out on the field a lot. They've dominated here in this game, but lead by only 7. Toss to Shepard. A couple times almost lost his footing, and then Mason Foster almost took his helmet off with a tackle, a gain of 7.
If you look at this second half and how it's unfolded, I don't know that you can get a lot more out of this Redskins defense. They've done an excellent job when the Giants have had good field position, and they've made some key stops.
That's it for quarter number 3 in a 7-point game. Back after this from your local Fox station. Third carry of the year for Sterling Shepard a moment ago on first down, and you see the tackle. He gets twisted. Looked like they were looking at his back when he came to the sideline. It appears to be okay. And as we start the fourth quarter, it will be second down for the Giants, who lead by 7. So season high in rushing yards for the Giants today. Actually more yards on the ground than through the air. 144 to 125. They haven't turned it over. Handoff is to Perkins. And he gets stood up at the line of scrimmage. It's third down.
Perkins has had a nice afternoon. He's knocking on the door for 100 yards rushing. Some success, but the Redskins, they tighten things up, so you get a chance to try to make a stop once again. Like I said, they've done a nice job here in this second half of getting off the field and at least giving their offense an opportunity, who were able to cut it to a one-possession game.
Here's Perkins with a career-high day, but he stopped short here. That extra effort made it close, but he is a yard, maybe less than a yard short of the first down. And the punt team comes on for the Giants.
Well, they put Brett Jones in there at fullback, and they don't have a fullback on their roster. They use the tight ends in that role, but they put Jones in at fullback, trying to get him in behind that to pick up the short yardage situation, and the Redskins make a stop.
Third straight 3 and out for the Giants. Redskins down by 7, figure to get it back unless the Giants use some trickery here on 4th and 1. Good snap, and Wing just got it away clean. Fair catch by Crowder. Lyndon Trail, big guy, 6'7", almost got to that punt. Redskins have it down 7. This way for the Washington Redskins. They had some heartbreakers week 2 against Dallas. The Cousins interception in the end zone. They lose the game. Then the last-second comeback by the Lions in week 7. Week 8 in London against the Bengals. Hopkins misses a late 34-yard field goal in overtime that would have been a winner. And so Washington comes into this game 8-6-1. They need a win to get into the playoffs. A toss to Thompson running left. And Keenan Robinson able to jiggle his way through to make the stop. A gain of 4. And again, I mean, you keep waiting for it to happen. Jenkins has been out in the second half. Odell Beckham has been out for the second half for the Giants. And other than that, Ben McAdoo is throwing it all at Washington.
Yeah, and we've seen Dwayne Harris leave the game. We saw them watching and looking at Sterling Shepard. And so you start to hold your breath a little bit if you're a Giants fan. But the Redskins have overcome a lot this year. We showed what some of those opportunities were that were missed. Start the year out 0-2, and here they are. They got it all before them right here.
Just got it away on 2nd and 6, and the pass is incomplete for Garcon. 3rd and 6 coming up. Here's Carissa with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. Kansas City was up 2017 when Alex Smith connects with Sharkandrick West for this 2-yard score. Now, if Kansas City wins and the Raiders lose, Kansas City's the 2 seed. Oakland would be the 5th. Oakland down big right now to the Broncos. Joe, Troy, and Eric.
Kansas City, they are not just hot, but they are good and hot. I mean, they are a team that could very easily show up in Houston.
They're really good. Andy Reid and that staff has done an excellent job, and they have been for a number of years.
3rd down and 6. Cousins hangs in the pocket, throws, caught, and a grab by Crowder. He's been begging for the ball all game, and that was a nice catch on 3rd down.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, he had one catch prior to this for just 5 yards, and this is a big one to keep this drive alive, and he's able to get turned around and go up and make a play, and that's an excellent job of securing the catch, hanging on to the ball, and keeping this drive going.
It's only the 7th first down of the entire game for Washington.
Space.
On 1st down, Kelly. Casillas gets taken for a ride. Brandon Sheriff, the Pro Bowl guard, was there to push the pile as well. Watch every live 2017 NFL playoff game in HD. All data free on NFL Mobile. 2nd and 5.
They just take Deshaun Jackson out of the game. They bring in the rookie Moreeeee Harris.
Toss to Kelly running right. He's got a 1st down.
Well, the Redskins wanted a flag at the end of that play, and it sure looked like one could have been thrown with maybe a late hit on Rob Kelly. Keenan Robinson. I think that's a good non-call. Contact was made about the time he was at the boundary right there. The boys right on that Redskins sidelines. They were certainly screaming for a call.
Ball at midfield with a 1st down for Kirk Cousins.
Keenan Robinson, another one of those key pickups for the Giants defense this year.
It's here in Washington, 2012 to 15. Nice catch. And that's the aforementioned rookie Moreeeee Harris, who had to reach behind him to grab it, a gain of 15.
Yeah, not an easy catch for Harris, trying to make amends for when he slipped and DRC had the interception, but a ball that's behind him, and yet he's able to get turned around and make a play.
15-yard completion, and that's the 7th different receiver Cousins has found for a completion in this game.
You can see watching this Redskins offense, they want to stretch you vertically and get big chunks in that passing game.
Fake it to Kelly. Cousins finds Davis. Perfect throw. And a 1st down and out of bounds inside the 20.
Vernon Davis the last few weeks been a little bit quiet, but he went through a stretch there this year where he was making a lot of big plays. Not bad coverage there by Eli Apple with the contact, but Vernon Davis is a big physical guy, and then he's able to come back out and get open, and Kirk Cousins delivers him a nice ball.
18-yard completion to Vernon Davis in his 11th year and a Super Bowl champion in a limited role a year ago with Denver.
Well, good job of that offensive line, giving Cousins some time and allowing Davis to work that secondary.
Tight formation. Kelly gets it on a handoff. Takes it inside the 15. Okwara on the stop.
Well, this is the first drive we've really seen this game where they seem to be putting some plays together and developing a little bit of offensive rhythm, and they've got the Giants on their heels.
So no Janoris Jenkins. Olivier Vernon is out there for the Giants. Pretty much the starting defense. Kelly, a yard short of a first down. A flag is down.
Yeah, they make it Morgan Moses the right tackle. He was pulling from the right tackle position. Looks like he might have gotten his arm.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
You see him there, 76. Tell who exactly it was. Keenan Robinson, the linebacker, who was trying to hit it, and then Moses got his right arm around his neck.
Hey, left touch. Let's go.
And then Morgan Moses made the mistake of coming up to Gene Steratore mid-announcement to plead his case, and Gene said, "Back off. I'm the sheriff around here." There's two sheriffs out there. One plays right guard for the Redskins, the other's wearing stripes.
Lucky.
2nd and 17. Thompson was the target. No flag as Damon Harrison, that big body, was out there on 25.
That's an excellent job by Damon Harrison. He's trying to rush the quarterback, and then he recognizes what the Redskins are trying to do with the screen then to Chris Thompson. And he is able to get on. You see that left hand, he gets away with a little bit of a veteran move there, grabbing the back of the jersey, and a nice mouthpiece to boot.
3rd down and 17. Garcon looking for blocks. Garcon getting blocks and a first down. And a flag at the end of it.
There's a lot of Pierre Garcon right here. Initially, when they threw it, it didn't look like he had any kind of chance to pick up the yards necessary for the first. He just went and got it. It looked like they're going to get Landon Collins with the late hit, and it's a good call. Tack a few more yards onto the end of that play, but what a job by Pierre Garcon, just knowing what he had to do and going after
the play. Personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense, number 21, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
See what's out in front of Garcon. Once he gets the ball, Keenan Robinson is there and Andrew Adams, and he's able to break that tackle and just went after it.
Landon Collins has had an all-pro type year. The quarterback back there in the secondary for this good defense. You see what's happened on this drive compared to the first 9, 5 first downs. 1st and goal.
Like Jordan Reed down here in the red zone. He's one-on-one
with Eli Apple. Blitz. Reed. Touchdown, Washington.
Not an easy catch for Jordan Reed on the slant route. He's got to go up for it, and for a guy who's playing with a shoulder injury, knowing you're going to get popped after you make that play by Keenan Robinson, that's a heck of a job securing the ball and giving this Redskins team a chance to tie this game up.
This Washington team gets a lot of production out of their tight ends. A Pro Bowler this year, Jordan Reed, has his 6th touchdown of the season and his most important one, and that extra point was nearly blocked. Don't forget that 21-yarder on 3rd and 17 to set it up. Reed with a touchdown, and we're tied in Landover. Jordan Reed did the hard part. He hung on that 1-yard touchdown throw from Kirk Cousins after the hit from Keenan Robinson. Then the extra point was almost blocked. You think these Giants aren't playing hard? They're not mailing anything in a game that doesn't mean anything for their playoff position. We'll show it to you after this. Tie game. An impressive showing by the Giants here in week 17, and here is the near block by who else? A guy who's had a huge impact in the game, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie.
It's just a matter of inches. He misses this ball, as you're going to see. He laid out, gave it everything that he had.
Boy, he is playing like a 9-year veteran that really cares about the effort here. We know the Giants are the number 5 seed. Where are they headed next week? We don't know that until tonight. Manning out to his right. And with Victor Cruz the target, it's incomplete. The Giants, where will they head? Well, they could go to Green Bay. They've had some postseason success there, but nobody wants any part of Aaron Rodgers right now. They could go to Atlanta. That looks unlikely. They could go to Detroit, certainly, or all the way out to Seattle, depending on if Seattle beats the 49ers or not. If they lose, the answer will be Seattle. If they win, the answer will be the winner of the NFC North, and that will be decided tonight in Detroit. Think about the Giants on the road in playoff games since '07, and that's taken Super Bowls out of the mix, which are played away from home. 3rd down and 5. Manning, down he goes. Cullen Jenkins, a former Giant, is there to tap him down. It's 4th down.
That's the first sack of the afternoon for the Redskins. Cullen Jenkins is able to get past Justin Pugh. Here's Cullen Jenkins, number 73, and he puts a spin move on Pugh, and Eli Manning with just a 4-man rush, unable to do anything with it. And again, the Redskins defense, a group that has struggled all year, has played really excellent football in this second half to give their offense, which had struggled, a chance to get back in it, and on the last possession tie it up.
This punt by Wing heads out of bounds before Crowder can get to it. They'll mark it at the 31, where Cousins will have it in a tie game. Well, the offensive leaders, Kirk Cousins, getting hot. 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Pierre Garçon, big yards to set up that last touchdown by the guy at the far end of that graphic, Jordan Reed. And on this, the home of Super Bowl 51, America's Game of the Week is tied. Redskins win, and they are in, barring a tie in Detroit tonight. Pass is in the air and out of bounds off the hands of Vernon Davis. Here's that big play by Pierre Garçon on 3rd down and 17. He had blocking in front. You got the late hit at the end of it, set up 1st and goal, and in they went.
He's a terrific player. He has been for a long time. I know Kirk Cousins has always said that he owes Peyton Manning a thank you for the job that he did in bringing Garçon along when he was playing for him with the Indianapolis Colts. He's a real technician in terms of running routes, one of the really great competitors in our game, and that was really the play of the game for the Redskins, picking up that first down.
And a total turnaround for the Redskins. You look at that yardage figure. Sideline Crowder, and that had too much heat on it. Crowder was alone but couldn't make the catch. Washington would score on their first 8 possessions. Since then, they've gone field goal and touchdown to tie it. And this would have made Max Scherzer proud. The Washington Nationals, that thing was smoking over there.
He's definitely got some arm strength, and you just kind of wonder what's going through his head right now, knowing what's at stake, not only for the team, but also for him.
Third down and 10, blitz. Redskins pick it up. Down the field for Jackson, incomplete. And after getting the ball right back, it's 3 and out. And a 22-second drive put together by Washington.
Yeah, 3 consecutive pass plays there, and the Giants brought pressure on that 3rd and long, and we've seen Spagnuolo do that certainly a few other times in this game, but they got bottled up, and it afforded Cousins some extra time, and you do that with Deshaun Jackson running down the field. He's a hard guy to cover, but DRC was there.
Jackson red hot coming in, just 1 catch, 23 yards in this game, and Dwayne Harris back to the 20. And that's where they'll mark him. Eli Manning still in the ball game, tied at 10.
Hello friends, this is Michael Drandis from the NFL on Fox. We're way up here at the top of the stadium with my good friend Vinny Scafidi and the Skycam crew, and we just want to send a special message out to everybody watching at home. So Vinny, take it away.
You got it, Michael.
Happy New Year! That's great. Happy New Year from all of us to all of you. How about Drano stealing Jim Nance's line? Hello, friends. 10-10 game. Giants have it at their own 20. Richie Zients, our producer. Rich Russo, our director. Aaron Andrews down on the field. Joe and Troy in the booth. Here's Perkins, and he gets brought down by Mason Foster, who has been busy. Last 4 times the Giants have had it. It's been Brad Wing, the punter, on the field to end the possession.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding since Ben McAdoo elected to go for it on 4th down, and they didn't convert. And since then, they just have not been able to do anything. 4 consecutive 3 and outs. So we thought they'd made some progress in that first half offensively with a lot of good things. But boy, this second half has been challenging for the Giants.
Here's Ty. There's Foster. 17 tackles in this game from Mason Foster, who is the top tackler for this Washington defense coming in. He also had a big tipped pass earlier in the game. He's played great.
He really has. He's been all over the field, making a lot of plays. He's been in the backfield. We'll see if they're able to force another 3 and out.
Clock at 1. 3rd down and 5. Victor Cruz got it. And you could see defensive coordinator Joe Barry hot along the sideline that his defense just gave up that 5+ yards.
That's one of those plays that we've seen the Packers run so often. They actually put in some rules emphasis in terms of not allowing receivers to block downfield before the ball is caught. It's a bang-bang deal. He was the only guy who was going to get the ball, and you leave the other receivers out in front to block those would-be tacklers, and the Giants pick up a much-needed first down.
Only the 4th first down of the half for the Giants. This is for King downfield. Hit in stride. And the first-year player out of Georgia is good for 44 yards.
It's just a simple go route by Tavares King against Greg Toller. He gets him beat, and Eli Manning is able to beat Blackman with the ball up the sidelines with a perfectly thrown pass.
whistle stop play before they can snap it from the 25. They're inside field goal range, 3:51 left.
Would the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 58 seconds.
So a clock issue lets us see it again.
That's the guy who Eli has to hold, and he's got to beat with the football up that sideline, knowing that King had a step on Toller. And a big play for this Giants team that they've had a hard time coming up with here in the second half.
And a young man who had 1 catch for 6 yards, that one for 44, and the Giants' longest play of the game. From the 25. Now they can try to run down the clock as much as they can, as Paul Perkins is good for 3. It's the first time this season the Giants have had a 100-yard rusher. His name is Paul Perkins, coming off a career-high 68 at Philly and 5 first downs. He's got a new career high at 102. Jennings back in there on 2nd and 7. Jennings, Chris Baker, and now John Jerry of the Giants got into it. No flag that I see. One of the Redskins went tumbling. At the end of that play, it'll be 3rd and 7.
Well, they got the Giants now to 3rd down once again and see if they can't come up with a stop to force a field goal attempt and get the ball back into the hands of their offense.
Just got it away again, and the pass is low. They're going to say incomplete now, which is important because it stops the clock. With 2 minutes 17 seconds left. Initially they said the pass was complete. It's Sterling Shepard, and that ball bounced in there, and a good reversal of what was initially going to be called a completed pass, albeit short of the first down.
Yeah, Eli frustrated with that throw, disappointed. He has a chance, and the Redskins, they bring pressure, and Giants are able to pick it up, and just really one of the few throws that Eli has had today that just has been off the mark.
40-yard try now by Robbie Gould. Giants back on top. Now 10 for 10 on the season in his 10th game with the Giants, Robbie Gould. And this was drilled through. A hold by Wing after the snap from Diassi. And it was true off the right foot of Robbie Gould for a 3-point Giant lead.
Yeah, well, now it all comes down to this drive for the Washington Redskins. Like we said, to have the year that they've had, and even Jay Gruden has talked about it this week and said it's been a roller coaster year, but they've weathered the storm in a lot of ways and put themselves in a position in week 17 to win, and with all likelihood then make it into the postseason. And it all comes down to the next 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
Trying to get to the postseason back-to-back years for the first time since the end of Joe Gibbs' first tour of duty in Washington. In 91 they went and they won Super Bowl 26. In 92, a good defensive team. Mark Rippon was the quarterback. And they didn't go all the way, but that's the last time they went in back-to-back seasons. Last year they won the division at 9-7. They had the 3-year stretch in the early 90s, but they need a win to get in, barring a tie in Detroit. And they'll have 2 minutes 12 seconds to get down the field and at least come up with 3. Here's Kurt Menefee with a game break.
And there's that man again, rookie Tyreek Hill of the Kansas City Chiefs take this punt 95 yards for the touchdown. Right now, Kansas City's on top of San Diego 34-20 late in the fourth quarter. Oakland's being blown out in Denver late in the fourth quarter. So it looks like the Chiefs will win the AFC West and clinch a first-round bye going into the playoffs. Joe Troy and Aaron.
Yeah, and the downside of that, as you said, is Oakland without their starting quarterback Derek Carr, with Matt McGloin at the controls, will not get a bye. From the 25 on first down, Redskins. Jackson out of bounds at the 35 for the first down. I guess this is kind of what you dream about, right? Troy Aikman as a quarterback, you got a field in front of you. You get down the field, get into the end zone, in all likelihood you end up in the playoffs.
It's a good feeling, and yeah, like you said, I mean, to have it riding all right here with a 3-point deficit and a chance to go up down the field and potentially win the ball game and into the postseason for the second time in a row, that's big stuff.
Pass is caught. What a hit. Vernon Davis got flipped by Trevin Wade, and we're at the 2-minute warning. It'll be second down for Kirk Cousins and the Redskins when we come back. Season on the line. Two minutes left, 2nd and 7. Ball at the 39 of the Redskins. Down by 3, in all likelihood a win and into the playoffs. Underneath, as Thompson has to spin to catch it, and then is going to fight for first down yardage. They'll give him the full 7. Leon Hall on the tackle. First down, Washington.
The Giants going with a 4-man rush on that play. They played coverage, and you know, as the Redskins start to move and they cross the 50-yard line here, you start to believe Spagnuolo will bring more pressure.
3 men on the rush here. Thompson's been busy. And the little back, Chris Thompson, who is listed at 5'8", 195, good for 11. Another first down, and in case you're wondering, as the Redskins take their first time out, Dustin Hopkins has missed from 57. His career long is 54 yards last year. That means getting it to the 36-yard line. And they're not that far away from that spot. It's that purple line that's laid in there at the 36. So this may very well rest on the right leg of Hopkins to tie it, or number 8 can try and win it.
Well, by the Redskins calling timeout, they've given the Giants an opportunity to bring in some fresh pass rushers, and Spagnuolo a chance to dial something up if that's what he chooses to do.
Cousins surveys, pulls it down, throws, and he's picked. Intercepted by Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and that could very well end the year for Washington. Second interception, second turnover of the game as well, and it's a backbreaker for the Redskins.
Well, Devin Kennard, he's going to be the one who puts the pressure. He doesn't get a sack, but it's the pressure by him that forces Cousins to slide to his left and try to make a throw to Garcon without being able to plant his feet and then lead him across the middle. He's open, but Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, in a trail technique and a ball then thrown behind him, he's able to make a play once again in thwarting a Redskins drive.
Well, Washington has 2 timeouts left. But here's Eli Manning. He's played throughout. It appears the Giants have gotten through this game without any significant injuries. Handoff is to Jennings, who hasn't fumbled as a ball carrier on a rush all year. And Josh Norman on the stop. Timeout taken by Washington. They have only 1 left. So if that was a career-defining drive, not a good ending. Cousins had been 4 for 4 prior to that throw. And as they're going down right on the edge of field goal range as it was, Cousins throws the interception.
And you know what's crazy about this particular game, Joe, is just how good the Redskins have played defensively here in this second half. And for a team that has really ridden the offense throughout the year, and with the game on the line, just unable to deliver. That Joe Barry defense in this second half has been awfully good.
Only one timeout left. They run it with Jennings, no surprise. And timeout Washington with 1:02 remaining. So let's talk about the Giants as you look at Deshaun Jackson. On one hand, the Giants in this game gotten through it without turning the ball over. That's been a problem for the Giants this season. And of late, over the last 4 games, Eli Manning had thrown 6 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. That's the side that's good. The bad side for the Giants is they will have average scoring under 15 points over their last 5 games, and the points just haven't been there. But man, their defense has been awesome.
Yeah, and we talked about it during the game. I mean, as good as that defense has been this year, if they just protect the football, they're going to be hard to beat. I thought they showed a lot of good stuff in that first half. It's been a struggle here in this second half, but winning builds confidence.
It's 3rd down and 7. They'll bring up 4th down, but the clock will continue to run. And you see the difference between the play clock and the game clock. The Giants, I'm sure, can run it down as much as they want, either take the penalty or take the timeout. And Jay Gruden, his team is seconds away from going to 8-7-1, and then giving us a really clear picture of the NFC playoff picture, which means even the loser in tonight's game in that battle for the NFC North title is in the playoffs as the number 6 seed.
Well, this has been a stunning game. I mean, hey, we all knew what was at stake for the Redskins, and we knew there was nothing to be gained by the Giants by winning, and yet McAdoo did what he said he was going to do and play his guys. And Damon Harrison, he played the entire game, and you know, so many of them did. And the Giants seemed like they were the team that had something to play for, and the Redskins looked like they were the team that had already locked something up and just did not give a very good effort. And what a time not to be at your best in week 17 with so much at stake.
Both McAdoos. Well, there's no relation between those two, but there could be. He gets on TV again, that kid, and Ben McAdoo should be awfully proud. In his first year as a head coach, taking over after the 12-year run by Tom Coughlin that netted 2 Super Bowl championships. And he's going to go in as a number 5 seed in his first year as the head man, after 2 years as the offensive coordinator under Coughlin. Wing will punt it. Just needs to get rid of it, which he does. End over end. Crowder hoping for a miracle. He's got 10 guys in front of him. 6 seconds left, and Zach Diassi, the long snapper downfield, will get credit for the tackle.
And by Jamison Crowder trying to make something out of nothing, ran off some valuable seconds.
So again, Cousins back to the field, likely the last snap. Bonus coverage of this game, which is crazy. And again, if Seattle loses, it would be the Giants at Seattle next week. I don't think anybody saw that coming with all the upheaval with the San Francisco 49ers, but credit to those players. In a battle with the Seahawks, they've got the Giants do 4 players, 5 players deep. Throws underneath. This is it. Flag is down. And on the lateral, on a bounce, it's Trevin Wade who will take it in for the touchdown. And the call is an ineligible man downfield. This touchdown will stand. How about that for an end to the ball game? Trent Williams, the left tackle, just threw his helmet 10 yards. There's a flag down, but it's for ineligible downfield.
Penalty on the play is ineligible man downfield, offense number 61. That penalty is declined, and the result of the play is a touchdown. for the New York Giants. By rule, we must also kick the point after try.
So they have to kick the extra point. Here's the play. Because this was a lateral, the play's alive as Jordan Reed threw it backward, and Trevin Wade was there for the short hop. Right into his gut for the touchdown.
They're trying to get everybody off the field, and by rule, they have to kick the extra point. I'm just not sure exactly why.
Do you have anything you want to say to the nation right now?
This game's over. I mean, why by rule do we have to kick the extra point? But
I'm sure there's a reason, and Mike Pereira is like bouncing in his chair in Los Angeles waiting to get on and tell you what that reason would be.
Well, by the time they clear this field, there won't be anybody left in the stands to see it.
Wonder what Al Michaels would say in a spot like this. But on a serious matter, Jay Gruden, his offense that's been record-setting the history of this great franchise with Washington, has to be shocked that his offense was shut down the way it was here today by the Giants. And the Giants have their offense out there, and I would expect they'll just take a knee. And that's it, 19-10. That's the final. Ben McAdoo, for the most part, played them all. Odell Beckham, Janoris Jenkins out in the second half, but his team came in here on the road against a divisional rival. They win it and knock out the Washington Redskins. We'll come back and then send it to bonus coverage after this.